Hello, friends, and welcome to another WSIB Truth Matters with Joe Machado, the Focus on WSIAT edition. I hope you're doing well. Anyway, over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about the Whistleblower Report that was submitted or released jointly by the Ontario Network of Injured Workers Groups and the Ontario Federation of Labour. This report was released in November of 2015. It was read at Queen's Park. And also there was a joint submission by these two organizations to the Ontario Ombudsman, where they urged the Ombudsman to investigate what they believed, and as documented actually quite well in the report, systemic issues on the part of the WSIB that was affecting injured workers in a significantly negative way, particularly when it comes to the areas of healthcare, treatment, psychological entitlement, and return to work. These are all very serious issues that affect pretty much every aspect of a worker's claim. And this group, they've done tremendous work over the years. I'm very well aware of them, both the Ontario Network of Injured Workers Groups and the Ontario Federation of Labour. They do a lot of work to bring to the surface a lot of issues that injured workers are confronted with today. And they've been at it for a very long time. And as you know, I've been doing this for a very long time as well, over 30 years. And it really is mind-boggling what this organization has done to injured workers and their families, and what they continue to do unfettered. They just seem to have carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want, no matter how miserable they make life for injured workers and their families. Anyway, in my first video, I talked about the report and some of the issues that were identified and brought to light by these organizations, and also talked about the complaint to the Ombudsman. In my second video, I talked about some of the recommendations outlined in the report that were also presented and read at Queen's Park, and a very significant part of the report. And so one would expect that somebody, somehow, somewhere, someone with just a tiny little bit of intelligence and wanting to do something good would actually take up the torch and do something. Although, it really shouldn't be required. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know what the WSIB was created for, and they've gone so far from that purpose. And do we expect anything better today? I've resigned myself to the conclusion years ago that there isn't anything good that we can expect from this organization, unless they are forced to change. And that change and that pressure doesn't seem to be coming from our political leaders. And so how do you do it? How do you affect change? How do you get some justice? Because, people they can't just go on like this. Injured workers need benefits, income replacement when they're not able to work, and they need to be compensated for permanent impairments, and they need to be supported for treatment that they require, or retraining in another job, or job search assistance. They need these things. They're so basic. And yet these assholes they can't understand that. So as I've said before, I believe the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal right now is the only organization that can provide justice for injured workers. There's nobody else. The only hammer that's used, the very powerful one at that, against the WSIB to push back and beat the shit out of them when they make these asinine decisions, it's wielded by vice chairs at the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal. I know representatives, lawyers, paralegals, whatever, are going to have their own little say on this and blah, 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 blah. You know what? Fuck it. I've been in this business longer than most of you. Lawyers and paralegals doing this kind of work. And I can tell you, there's no other solution. Nobody's carrying the torch. So what you need to do, and to do it effectively for your client, is to make sure they get to the tribunal and that you argue the case properly at the tribunal so they can get justice, because it's not going to happen anywhere else. And I form my opinions based on over 30 years of dealing with these people. I didn't start doing this yesterday or the day before or 5 years ago. It's a lifetime. And I built the largest paralegal firm doing it for a reason, because we were good. And the WSIB knew that. That's why they tried to take me out, and they failed, motherfuckers. But I'm back, harder than ever. Why? Because something needs to be done. Injured workers need justice. And the numbers don't lie. Why do I talk about the tribunal? Well, it's very simple. The Ontario Network of Injured Workers Group and the Ontario Federation of Labour submitted some tribunal decisions along with their complaint to the Ombudsman. And they did that for a reason. Very astute, because they want to be able to demonstrate that the WSIB isn't following the law, and the tribunal is. And they used 3 different areas of entitlement. One of them was healthcare treatment. The other one was psychological entitlement. And the other one was return to work. And they used these 3. And they provided decisions on these 3 areas of entitlement. And so when they did the search on the Canley Library, which contains all tribunal decisions, the search terms that were used were healthcare treatment to yield a number of decisions so they could use a few and submit them, psychological entitlement, and then they did the same thing for return to work. I read the decisions, good decisions. It really demonstrates the imbalance of justice between the tribunal and the WSIB, because they're out to lunch. They are out to lunch. And so here's what I've done, because I needed to know, is there been a change? Like, it's now November 5th of this year. So last week was the 8th anniversary of that report. And so what's changed? Well, what I found was that I shouldn't be surprised that nothing's changed. It's actually worse. And I was surprised that for only a very minute second that nothing had changed. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, Joe. I mean, what'd you expect? These guys don't listen to anybody. This beast, nobody's been able to tame this beast. But the tribunal has. So I did my own search, and I used the same search terms as they did. So from January 1st, 2016, which is the year following that report, to present, on the issue of healthcare treatment, there have been a total of 11,735 decisions at the tribunal. Okay, so these are decisions that were denied by the board in a very short period of time. On the issue of psychological entitlement, there were 9,591 decisions by the tribunal. And on the issue of return to work, get this one, folks, get this one. 17,468 decisions in an 8-year period. Wow. That's a lot of people going without and getting screwed. So what I thought, well, okay, let me try to get an average of what's happening. So I did a sample of 100 decisions by the tribunal under the healthcare treatment. And what I discovered was 85 out of 100 decisions were in favor of the worker. 85 out of 100. So they basically told the WSIB that, you know what? Out of 100 decisions you made, 85 of them are shit. Absolutely horse shit. It's a big number. Psychological entitlement. 70 out of 100 decisions were made in favor of the worker. 30 of them weren't. So 70% made in favor of the worker. Again, back to the WSIB. Here you go, you dumbasses. Your decision means shit. 70 out of 30. And get this one. Return to work. 89 out of 100. That means that out of 100 decisions that AROs made at the WSIB, out of 100, 89 of them were overturned, where the worker received either partial loss of earnings or full loss of earnings for certain periods or full loss of earnings to 65 because they were entitled to it. So is the WSIB or the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal the only answer, the right answer? Absolutely. Because with those numbers, they're giving injured workers justice. They're doing their job. And they're applying the law. It's not like they're trying to create situations based on how they feel about a case that they're going to allow or disallow. They focus on the law. They focus on tribunal jurisprudence. And they make these decisions. They use the policies that were written and enacted by the WSIB with which to make their decisions. Sick, folks. Sick. You think you have a passing grade at school or college or university with that kind of a poor record? So the only thing I can tell you is this. Don't give up on yourself. Because I know that for those statistics, there are hundreds, if not thousands, that quit. They just quit. And they're probably suffering today from it. They probably pushed themselves to go back to work and got worse. Or they're living below poverty line on CBP or ODSP. Sick. It's sick, my friends. Sick. My message, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. If you don't have anywhere to go to help you, send me an email, joemachado@wsibsettlements.com. I will make sure that you get the help that you need. But don't give up on yourself. Don't let these assholes win and take over your life. Just don't. Fuck them. All right, friends, so this concludes this 3-part series on Focus on WSIAT. I have another one that I'm starting. which is in the area of deeming. And you'll find that one even more interesting. So my next video coming up, I'm going to review a bunch of WSIB decisions that they now have decided that they're going to start posting on CanLII. Why, I don't know. Just doesn't seem to go along with their plan. But I'm going to review a few, and I'll let you know whether they're well done or whether they're not well done, because truth matters, and you know that I tell it like it is, regardless. My friends, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. To my subscribers, thank you for sharing my videos. You're doing two things for me, which is very important. You're helping me to grow this channel. Subscribing doesn't cost anything, so you can take advantage of that. And you're also helping me to reach injured workers who need help and talk about over 30 years of experience that I have dealing with the WSIB, the Workplace Safety and Insurance Appeals Tribunal, exclusively. And all this information I provide on this channel is free. If you need help with your claim, you can visit my website, WSIBsettlements.com. There's a bunch of programs and tools that I developed personally that work to support and to help our members. And have a look. If not, no big deal. Just tune into the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscriber button. It's free. You get notified every time I come out with a new video. Hit that notification bell and you're set to go. All right, friends, as always, take care.